Well, what's going on, folks? Well, left my glasses on the bedside. What can I say? Weaver John C., Roseman, California. It's practically 11:30 at night. It is still Sunday night. It is still the 13th, and tomorrow it is, well, it will be Monday. Tonight's a gorgeous night to see a meteor shower. Gemini, if I'm not mistaken. And I've seen a few Dannies. Really makes one kind of small in the universe, I'll tell you, when you see such wonderful sights like this. It also makes one kind of think about things, including certain things I've said and actions I've taken and intentions. Now, we all had to deal with this COVID stuff. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare for you. It's a nightmare for me. And it has affected a lot of us. It's affected our businesses. It's affected our lives. It's affected our way of thinking, of handling people, of handling situations, of having conversations left and right, of having relationships left and right. But also it affects us more than our local because it affects us globally. And not many people are actually thinking about this when they speak, because their own world is global enough as it is, in their own little nucleus. But they're not seeing the bigger images. And sometimes when I start thinking about stuff like that in the middle of the night, yeah, it freaks me out a bit. See, a long time ago, I thought big. You think big, you want to put things down, you want to build things. Me, I wanted to write things. People kept saying I had talent, but I still needed to get the skill necessary to do such a thing. Well, I've had a lot of videos. Probably tell people about exactly who and what I am these days, so I'm not going to go into the boringest details at this point. You want to see who the hell I am? Well, you got over God knows how many videos to go through, and how many stomach pumps or how many throw-ups you're going to need, and how many Pepto-Bismols that's going to be needed at this point. So, regarding the article I saw on the social media regarding the cruising industry, one particular cruise trade magazine run by a law firm back east, or southeast anyway. Well, got a dog to take care of first. When one person has to have a dog, the dog takes more priority than the thoughts do. It's the point over here. It doesn't make me digress, it just makes me sidetracked. So are all these postings on Facebook and social media sidetracking? Especially when I see one particular posting that says the cruises all have to stop. They are spreading centers. You know, that's one particular notable observation if we're talking about the norovirus in all its infancy. And I hadn't seen any articles or people mentioning about that more often throughout the cable news history or even newses. I mean, I've seen stories, and I've read the stories that keep popping up every once in a while, at least on the West Coast and sometimes on the East Coast. But they haven't been so prevalent where they're going to be making headline news. And now we got the COVID-19 taking that center stage right there. And everything else that it affects. It's like putting a pebble in a pond. No, I'll take that back. You're taking an asteroid and putting it into a pond. See the difference? A major global pandemic affects everybody in every way, shape, or form. Even people in the higher up professionals know better than to say that certain industries have to be shut down because we have a global pandemic. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And we have people's lives hanging in the matter. We also have businesses hanging out there that people have put their whole lives into in order to service the public. We are so globally and locally independent with each other that whatever actions an individual or a group of people are taking at this point, including businesses, regardless of the industry, they have a ripple effect. And unfortunately, some people still do not understand this. And I tried to make that clear on a social media posting at this point. This one poster has enough experience regarding maritime law that would put me to shame, and rightfully so, because he's been at it for probably as long as I am old, and I'm only 54 years old. So let's put that on record. Or maybe a little bit lesser than that, I don't know. The only thing I do know of is putting an industry down constantly like that and saying it is a spreading center without saying everything else going on around him. Kind of a bit biased, don't you think? Especially if he's happening to deal with a maritime situation. But he is entitled to his own opinion. And a lot of people kind of respect that. I respect that he's got a First Amendment right for the opinion that's going over here, even though I may not agree with it. And I don't. Because, not entirely. I have heard so much information coming from the travel agencies these days and from different people who have been in the cruising industry that this pandemic has affected a lot of businesses that the cruising industry depends upon, but they also depend upon the cruising industry for their livelihood. And that includes countries, islands, ports of call in different states, left and right. If something happened to the shipping, what kind of a global effect we're talking about? If something happens to one particular port of call, imagine what the ripple effect is like. And this is what I'm trying to come across here. That our own actions, however small they are, individual, has a way of affecting things. Now, I know they call it the butterfly effect. And maybe scientifically it hasn't been proven exactly that a butterfly's wings may cause a storm system down the road. Butterfly wings fluttering through the atmosphere, stirring up currents somehow, slightly, but maybe they're going to be added to more and more until finally they're added to a tumultuous storm. Now, I've heard about that theory going on for years. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I don't know. It sounds like a good one. But put it into a Zen situation. Then I could see it. A Zen garden. And if I had a pen and a piece of paper, I would show this to you, despite the damn thing being lined as it is. All right. A large, irregular lake, right? Okay. You drop a stone in the middle of it. Now, you've probably seen this in many forms. Hell, you've probably done this already. I'm a lousy drawer, but hopefully you'll get the illustration's point. Despite the fact my pen keeps screwing up on the damn ink at this point over here, but get the point. Okay, let me show this to you. You seeing it? Maybe a little bit better. Note the center. Note the edges. Zen garden situation over here. One action can have an effect over here. Well, what happens if we happen to, in that particular section there, put another stone? And therefore, it would cause more ripple effects that would be affecting everything else. And maybe a philosophical exercise at this point over here, but that's a realistic situation we've got going on right now. As calm and placid as the lake may be, even Brownian's notion is still in effect. Yes, it's a physics situation that even a still pond still has activity in it. Look at a glass of water, and sometimes you can still see the undulating surface because the particles inside are still moving. So nothing is still. Everything's affected. Apply this to our situation we've got going on right now. We have a pandemic that's affecting everything and shutting things down left and right. We have a cruising industry. We have a restaurant industry. We have a tourist industry. Now, there's a lot of industries we got going on right now as it is. I'm going to pick on Florida. I'm also picking on California. I may not know the history concerning about Florida, but I sure as hell know about the California at this point over here. And you'd probably think I'd go for California first. No, I'm going for Florida because I'm hearing more and more news about that particular state. Besides the geopolitical situation going on right now affecting health situations left and right, and seeing the numbers increasing and being fluctuating left and right due to interpretation and politics affecting that, which also affects the hospital count, the ICUs, the beds, and the policies being implemented of having no mask. Well, me, I have no mask because I'm inside my home. But if I had a mask on, I'd be wearing the damn thing. If I was outside, I'd be wearing it. Inside, me, just me, I'm safe. But I guess somebody at the door, I'm going to have to wear a mask. Is it so hard to do that? Apparently it is. So, spreading centers situation going on. A whole huge rally is going on. And people are not allowed to wear the damn mask by given the choice to do so, and they'll decide, we're fine. And then what do you got? A pop-up over here, a pop-up over here, a pop-up over here. And what do you got? Do you have enough bed space? Do you have enough ICUs? Do you have enough ventilators for this person? Do you have enough stressed-out medical personnel to take care of them? And question, where was the spreading center done at? Oh, it was over at a rally. Okay, fine. Switch over to the amusement parks. I'm going to pick on Disney. Big, major corporation. You don't think these guys haven't thought about this stuff? You're realizing that these guys have been in the business that they can adapt and overcome whatever they can, and they've been trying to do so. But they've also been kicking out people left and right because their numbers are just not adding up. Their numbers are not adding up. They're not having enough people coming in there to parks to do shopping, and if they can, they would. But they still want to make sure that there's health safety issues at this point over here. But they still lay off people left and right because their numbers are not adding up like they used to. Pre-COVID, they were making billions off of each park, including out here in California, where the big Disneyland, the original park, along with its neighbor of California Adventure, are shut down. Shut down because of politics, also shut down because of no beds, or lack of beds at this point over here, coming to the point where there's going to be 0 beds, not to mention ICUs being overrun, and not to mention emergency rooms, and let's see, hospital space in one way or another. How about a COVID ward? Well, I don't think we're going to have much of those. We're going to have parking structures for those. Every damn county is affected in the state of California. We used to have the county situations. Now we got the regional situations over here. We got people bitching or griping to the politicians about about their businesses not being able to open and stay open because the numbers are not adding up. Disney was going to try to do everything they could to keep their parks alive, to keep their companies going. And when you have cities depending upon that big industry, that big corporation, just how many frickin' lives and how many frickin' companies out there are going to be affected? The mom and pops couldn't even start up if they wanted to. They're getting shut down left and right. They threw everything they could in every damn piece of collateral and every damn loan they call out. And in a situation like this, they get devastated. And it's also happening in Florida as well. When I have an expert of maritime law who's also concerned about the pandemic affecting his state, I challenged his opinion at this point of just shutting down the industry, or actually shutting down the cruise ships, and that's going to solve everything. Shut down a spreading center. His comments were, in my own opinion, ill-conceived, because he wasn't thinking the bigger, larger picture at hand, and if he was, he didn't give that indication out. And sometimes I am a bit overzealous and a bit egocentric at this time trying to win arguments, but I did have to apologize a bit to the gentleman, but I am not holding back on some of my opinions at this point and my observations, because I'm also trying to see the bigger picture at hand. Yes, the pharmaceuticals are out there getting the vaccinations to the people at this point, and it's going to take a long time. A normal vaccination has been told to a lot of people throughout the years. It takes years of development and tracking, testing to make sure that they are proven. And not all vaccinations are up to the challenge to what they're trying to kill. Some people actually do have adverse reaction to whatever is being used in the liquids. The bodies will go through different metamorphoses, different biochemical changes, even to the point of death. And there have been case studies regarding some of those vaccinations, regarding the different diseases that they're supposed to be protecting against. But for the majority of the people, it's still a defense. And that includes the vaccination that's being rushed out right now. There has been limited trial information concerning about these vaccinations. And we're going to be hoping and praying that we don't have a massive reaction to where those things are going to be obsolete one way or another, or dangerous. There's always a risk when you're taking a vaccination. There's always a risk, including a standard flu vaccination or even pneumonia, even smallpox. There's always a risk. But the risk is greater when you don't take them. And that does apply to the industries we're losing at this point over here, because we're hoping and praying that if there's enough immunity out there, that the bug, whatever they're trying to fight, in whatever shape or form, is going to have less and less of an effect than it already has. And we're still trying to convey that message to people, that despite the fact that we're going to try to get immunity going on in people, they still have to take precautions, including the companies who are putting out a lot of their heart and soul into it in order to save themselves and everybody else that they care about, including their community. And that's the thing I don't understand. Because when somebody says to shut down the ships or shut down the industry or shut this damn thing down, are they well aware, are they agonizing every single second of how this is going to be affecting everybody at this point over here? And there's a hell of a lot of conflict going on out here in California regarding it. Because right now there's a lot of people still wanting to recall our governor. I don't know if there's been recall efforts going on within the county of Los Angeles regarding our situations out here. I live next door to Los Angeles. I was born in Los Angeles. Let me die outside the state of county of Los Angeles, but I'm still Los Angeles inside and out. I'm still a Californian inside and out. It's my home state, and everything in the home state affects me. Everything. From Rodeo Drive all the way over to Eureka, San Diego. They all have an effect, one way or another, directly or indirectly. It's the same logic you have to apply in everything at this point over here. And you are just part of the thing that's affecting everybody. I can't make that enough clear to people. I have told people many times, I'm no expert. I am no expert. I got no degrees, okay? I'm still working on my AA. I'm a 54-year-old fart going through a 5-year at this point. Going to be starting a 6-year. I'm taking it easy on myself. I'm trying to have fun in my life. I've worked my ass off for a long while. And now for the later half, I'm going to be going to college and learning shit. Why not? I'm entitled. I'm entitled. Got disabled by work. Now I get to work on my brain. And if you guys had watched a hell of a lot of my videos, you've already been understanding the reasons why. So now we have this. And this is a letter. This is a letter going out there. Every one of those people are being affected left and right by this damn bug. Because every one of us have a choice and every one of us have a responsibility. We all have to be accountable. We all have to be held to a higher level. Over 100 years ago, during World War I, we had a global pandemic of flu. We didn't have the medical science back then as we have right now. But what they did do for about 2 or 3 years is masked up and survived. And they had to make a hell of a lot of changes. A lot of changes to their lifestyle. They were uncomfortable as hell, and they must have had a lot of people balking about it like we have right now. If they had social media back then as we have it right now, my God, they'd be going insane. So welcome to our real life right now. Welcome to our pandemic. And we already are insane. The question is, what are we going to do with it? What are we going to do about this damn bug? What are we going to do about our businesses that are shut down left to right, that our states depend upon, that everybody else who depends upon those businesses for livelihood, for living? We have to make changes. We have to make adjustments. There's no either or. We have to find different alternatives. And we have to stick to those. We have to have the courage for that, because if we don't, well, there are legal documentations concerning about crematoriums, about power of attorneys, about where to put your plot at. No, that's not funny. That's reality check. Science backs it up. Other people are recovering from it, yes. And they're also suffering through other things left and right. Complications. You just don't understand about this damn bug. This is not your standard flu bug, boys and girls. This is one that hits and hits hard and still hits you even after it leaves, and it comes back and hits you again. This bug, once it makes a beachhead into your damn body, without your body showing the antibodies or the reactions necessary, it starts to go after everybody else around you. You become the spreading center. You're asymptomatic. You're not showing any symptoms, but you become your worst nightmare. You're the typhoid Mary. Why do you think we have to keep social distancing and masking up left and right, watching on the spreading centers? Why do you think we have to have barriers at businesses? Because we don't want anybody else to catch this damn bug. We want the businesses to live, and they're going to have to be willing enough to do whatever it takes to keep our business going, because they depend upon us, we depend upon them. We're symbiotic, you understand that? They go down, we go down. You're not seeing the complications, are you? I don't know how to make it more clear to you folks. So nature's going to have to do it for you. Nature's going to have to do it for you. And you're still going to be biting and griping it over the damn politicians who are freaking out left and right because they can't get the necessary resources that are being screamed at them by other people who want to get those resources, and they can't get enough of them. Because people are not doing what they need to do to take care of themselves and others and be a community, not be an individual. Screw that. Be a community. Focus on the people around you. Sorry, not in this country, not this time. You guys are all too damn individualist. So nature's going to have to take its course on you guys until you guys get the message. Maybe by then it's going to be too late. Or is it already too late? Your choice. It's always been your choice.